Hello, my name is Denise Kelly, and my partner is Kallie Jackson, and we're going to be talking about the exchange theory as it applies to domestic violence. You'll see a movie clip called Engaged, and we'll make a gospel connection, what can be done, and what we can do. Everyday examples of the exchange theory as it applies to domestic violence are bullying, child maltreatment, domestic and spouse violence, sexual abuse. We chose this movie clip because it shows the exchange theory in action, with the husband wanting a beer and the wife going to get it, and then the domestic violence that tries to stay hidden. There's also some other things that happen that we thought we'd draw attention to, and that is when Ruth calls and she is aware of the violence that's going on and encourages Sarah to leave, and then Sarah is too scared. She weighs that costs and rewards and feels like the costs would be too great. And then there's also a friend that jumps into the kitchen to see if everything's all right, and they pretend that things are fine. Elder Dorff has said, "You are not ordinary, rejected, or ugly. You're something divine, more beautiful and glorious than you can imagine. This knowledge changes everything. It changes your present, it can change your future, and it can change the world." Give and take. The exchange theory is the give and take within a relationship. People have an innate need to maximize benefits and minimize costs. Historically, people may have exchanged food, money, services, and sex. In a relationship, both parties rely on one another to provide a reward. Some basic assumptions of the exchange theory are: people are motivated by self-interest. We want what will benefit us the most. We want to maximize the benefits to ourselves. Individuals are constrained by their choices. Since we cannot know what the future holds, we tend to believe that the best will happen. Next, humans are rational beings. People are able to weigh the cost-reward ratio and will take the option with the most rewards attached to it. Social relationships are also characterized by interdependence. We know in order to get something in a relationship, we must give something up for the other person. We expect this exchange to be fair. Terms and concepts. Rewards. This can be defined as anything pleasurable. Costs. Anything as individuals does that they do not like is considered a cost. Profit. This is the outcome of the situation. People want to get the most for the least amount of work. Here, a robot has a paintbrush attached to it so that the artist can get the most for the least amount of work. And the words promotion, sometimes people tend to feel like he or she deserves something, and that's called the comparison level, like I deserve a promotion. In domestic violence scenarios, a lot of people are just too frightened, too scared, too traumatized to speak up. And Esther had a similar experience in the scriptures when she was made queen, which is not the lifestyle she thought she'd be born into. She was a humble Jew, but her uncle kept telling her she was going to do great things. And she stood before a king that had made a rule that if anybody came and they weren't summoned, then they would be killed. So she went and pled the cause of her people. Similarly, those in a domestic violence situation must muster courage to reach out and speak out for their livelihood and that of their children's. Here's a wheel of power and control, and this is seen with offenders in domestic violence, using male privilege, like treating her like a servant, making all the big decisions, acting like the master of the castle, being the one who defines men and women's roles. The emotional abuse can be putting her down, making her feel bad about herself, calling her names, making her think she's crazy, playing mind games, humiliating her, and making her feel bad. Down below, there's a National Domestic Violence Hotline, and that's just for us to have, and that way if we know someone that's being treated in this kind of way, there's support for them, and that number is 800-799-7233. How victims overcome domestic violence is through a lot of different ways, but some of the ones we thought were most important are cognitive behavior therapy for PTSD, network of family and friends, legal protection, and participating in a local support group. We hope this information has given you some new highlights on this exchange theory as it relates to domestic violence. Thank you.